Guys, Rich here with Brotherhood Reviews, and we're back talking about One Piece. And today we got a reaction video for you guys, and I am going to be reacting to Ohara's newest video. I think he dropped another video from the posting of this, but whatever. One of Ohara's newest videos, and he does the 13 best theories about the One Piece treasure, and I wanted to do a reaction to this video because Ohara's videos are always so amazing. But not only that, I wanted to rate these 13 on how likely or how possible I personally think they are. Now, all credits to the video goes to Ohara. I am not rating his video itself. I am rating the possibility of the theories. Just want to clear that up because I know Ohara has a big following, and I am not trying to, target them and think, but this is just how possible these theories are. Now, pretty much let's get into it because I have nothing else to say, but like, comment, and subscribe, and if you want more theory reactions, just let me know.
One Piece is and where it is hidden, because I found the best theories about the big treasure that Luffy's trying to find in order to become Pirate King. Starting off with a theory that has actually already been confirmed. Now, in case you don't know, the only person that has ever discovered the One Piece so far was the former Pirate King Goldie Roger on an island that is almost impossible to reach and that most people don't even know exists.
Yeah.
If Roger discovered the One Piece first, who put it there in the first place? Well, there were tons of theories about this until Eiichiro Oda, the author of One Piece, confirmed that the legendary One Piece treasure was created by a mysterious character called Joy Boy.
Okay.
A person who lived 800 years ago, who is still
so he's talking about a confirmed one, so obviously this is 10 out of 10.
And in order to find Joy Boy's treasure, which is the One Piece, Roger had to read these ancient, nearly indecipherable artifacts called poneglyphs. If one person can find all 4 of the red road poneglyphs, the road to the final treasure will be unlocked. And after Roger finally found Joy Boy's treasure, he laughed uncontrollably, and the island that held the treasure became known as Laugh Tale. So what is the One Piece? Well, this next theory suggests that the One Piece is actually the devil fruit tree. Now, you probably know that the main power system in One Piece are the devil fruits, magical fruits that when eaten give a person unbelievable powers. However, we still don't know where these devil fruits come from. How are they made? Why is it that a person who eats one is cursed to never be able to swim again? Well, someone who found such a treasure and had access to tons and tons of super rare devil fruits could form a supremely powerful army. And so if an evil pirate such as Luffy's main rival Blackbeard were to find the tree that grew every devil fruit, his crew would become nearly unstoppable as he spread chaos and war throughout the world. The idea of the devil fruit tree also is connected to the Adam tree and Eve tree, 2 giant trees speculated to exist in the One Piece world that are really connected to Christian mythology and the devil fruit creation, the fruit of the devil. We still have so many questions about devil fruits, so maybe we'll finally get an answer at the end of the series. Maybe Laugh Tale contains a giant tree that grows these devil fruits. After all, the devil fruits might not just be an awesome power system, they might be tied into all the complex history of the whole One Piece world. Now, that would be absolutely crazy, but a theory that might be a little bit less crazy is that the One Piece is nothing. Now, I know that this sounds super anticlimactic, but hear me out. Some fans think—
So that last one, the One Piece pretty much being, put there by Joy Boy, that was confirmed. So that's like a 10 out of 10. But it's more of what it is that everybody, especially me, is worried about. So that this next one is way more important, because a lot of people was thinking like, no, there's nothing there like that, and that would make a lot of sense because of why Roger and them was laughing, because they could have just like found a sign that said, "Here lies everything," and then there's nothing there. And they just bursted out laughing because they realized, like, obviously it's journey, it obviously was everything, but it's more than that. But that's just my thoughts.
think that when Luffy finally reaches Laugh Tale, he'll open a treasure chest to reveal nothing at all. I mean, if this were true, fans the world over would descend upon the internet overflowing with pure rage, including me. However, people who predict that the One Piece might be nothing at all have some solid evidence to support their theory. One piece of evidence is that all the way back in the East Blue Saga, on the island of rare animals, the early members of the crew met a character named Gaimon. And while almost every other part of the East Blue Saga serves to set up the larger story plot, the Gaimon arc, which is really just a single chapter, feels a little bit out of place. Everywhere else we gain a crewmate or meet an antagonist who still plays a role in the story. However, Gaimon's chapter just seems like a completely random side quest. In case you need a refresher, Gaimon is this man with a large bushy green afro who sought a treasure at the top of a high cliff. However, after falling during his climb to the top, he landed and became permanently lodged inside his treasure chest. And then, after waiting for 20 years, Luffy investigates the treasure at the top of the cliff, only to find out that there are 5 empty treasure chests. Given that Gaimon and Luffy have a lengthy conversation in the chapter about the One Piece treasure as a whole, could this be actual foreshadowing for the end of the series as a whole as well? Did Eiichiro Oda hide the answer to the One Piece in plain sight all the way back in chapter 22? After all, in the end, Gaimon's real treasure wasn't gold.
The whole One Piece treasure being nothing would be hilarious in my opinion. But I think this is probably like 5 out of 10. I don't think this is really that possible, but it is plausible. So
but if we assume that there are clues for the One Piece at the beginning of the story, then something that seems even more likely given the huge reveals Oda's been dropping lately is that the One Piece is the ancient kingdom itself. On the other side of things, the One Piece treasure may be the remains
I believe that.
Now, we still don't know a lot about the
That's probably a 10 out of 10.
Even know its real name.
Honestly,
what we do know is that the ancient kingdom was an advanced civilization that existed over 800 years ago, during the time that today is called the Void Century, since there is so little known about it. In fact, the organization that controls the One Piece world today, known as the World Government, originated as 20 different nations that came together to overthrow this ancient kingdom. After this kingdom was destroyed, the World Government then erased all the history of its existence from the books. They completely destroyed all traces of an entire century. However, if the One Piece ends up being the remains of this ancient kingdom, the island of Laugh Tale, then the whole history will be finally revealed. The characters will learn all there is to know about the ancient kingdom, Joy Boy, and the Void Century. And
I could definitely see that being true.
The world government took power in the first place and what their true ambitions are. This, of course, would be a perfect setup for a final battle against the world government to change the world. And while that does seem like an awesome final battle, maybe the One Piece is actually something that more lines up with the themes of the story, such as the One Piece is the friends we made along the way.
I don't think Oda would do that. It'll line us too much with fairy tale, so that's like a 3 out of 10.
To the one we talked about earlier, One Piece is nothing at all. And while it would be disappointing, this theory also has some valid evidence as well. The biggest evidence for this theory comes from an arc called the Sabaody Archipelago arc, when Silvus Rayleigh, the former first mate of the Pirate King Goldie Roger, straight up offered to spoil the end of the story. Rayleigh, who would later on become Luffy's mentor, told the crew that he could tell them all the secrets of the One Piece if they wanted to hear it. And in fact, Usopp was all too ready to hear all the truth of the Great Treasure, but Luffy quickly shut him up. Because to Luffy, finding the treasure had no worth at all if he had to take a shortcut. To him, the thrill of adventure, the journey itself, is just as worthy as any physical treasure that he could ever obtain. And after all, no matter what the One Piece actually turns out to be in the end, there will always be some fans who will probably be disappointed in the end anyways. So
that's 100% fact. There's gonna be so many people that hate it no matter what happens.
In getting to know these characters and following their story. However, there is some good news for fans who would be majorly disappointed if the One Piece turned out to be nothing at all, or adventure or friendship, because Eiichiro Oda has actually gone on record stating that the One Piece is in parts at least, an actual physical
Cool thing.
Fans
Yeah,
actually asked him
that's the only
directly if
difference
the
is
One Piece
that
would
Oda
to be
confirmed that it's a
friends with
physical
along the
thing.
way, and he explicitly said no. And on that note, instead of becoming Pirate King, by the way, my personal journey to reach 1 million subscribers this year seems almost impossible to do as well, and it is only doable with your help. So if you
Don't forget to check out his videos. This video will be linked in the description, so don't forget, check it out. For real.
As in, the One Piece is the actual story that we're reading right now. Okay, now this one gets a little bit meta. In fact, my brain.
I think this is the one where, like, they say, like, somebody's narrating it.
Theories out there. Let me explain. Now, we don't necessarily mean that Roger was just sitting on Laugh Tale reading manga volumes, but maybe the epic tale that is the One Piece story is written on the unbreakable poneglyphs that keep the historical record of the ancient kingdom.
No, it's this one.
It seems like a tale or story that makes Roger laugh. Roger actually comments on the treasure, saying that he wishes that he could have lived in Joy Boy's times and that he was way too early getting to Laugh Tale for some mysterious reason. Now, there's actually a big prophecy in the story that says that Joy Boy will return, and all hints point to Luffy being the reincarnation of Joy Boy, whatever that actually means. As you know, One Piece is an exciting and hilarious manga, so it would definitely make Roger laugh. In addition, the narrator often sounds like they're telling the story from some future point, so perhaps someone will write the story or add to the story that's already there and leave it on Laugh Tale. The One Piece treasure is likely something that can unite the whole world, and nothing can bring people together like a great story. So maybe the story of Luffy's adventures, either through prophecy or through some weird time travel shenanigans, is the One Piece treasure itself. But before we get into that, it's finally winter time, and even though I love nothing more than taking a nice walk in the snow, it is also prime season for stuff. The One Piece could also be time travel. Now, we already know that a character named Toki ate the time fruit. This allows her to jump forward in time, but not backwards. But what if the One Piece is something that can travel backwards in time? Now, this is a very crazy idea, but what if Luffy isn't a reincarnation of Joy Boy at all? What if he time travels back to the Void Century and he's actually the original Joy Boy as well? After all, with the introduction of Toki and her Devil Fruit ability, time travel is a real power in the story now. So by going back and changing history, Luffy could prevent all the suffering the world government has caused throughout the centuries, instead of just making things better.
Honestly, this is my first time hearing this one. Well, not really. Well, hearing it explained fully.
That he could have met Joy Boy, and why he said that he was too early. That's because Luffy wasn't born yet. But if that theory is a little bit too crazy for you, how about that the One Piece is
that's nuts though.
Treasure? Because now
it might be that one might be a 10 out of 10. Luffy going back in time.
A bunch of treasure. Gold, jewels, riches, and valuables.
I don't know. I gotta think for time travel. That's probably why.
Blame them for thinking this. I mean, Roger had gold in his name. His ship, the Oro Jackson, uses the Spanish word for gold as well. Oro. However, what the leagues of pirates who set out to find this treasure fail to recognize is that Roger isn't your typical pirates. His treasure is almost guaranteed to not just be monetary, especially now that we've seen Roger's reaction to Laugh Tale and received many hints about the Void Century, Joy Boy, and the Ancient Kingdom. So much more likely is that Roger's treasure is something related to the great mysteries of the One Piece world. And so, as disappointed as money-loving Nami will surely be if she doesn't find wealth beyond her imaginations, the fanbase certainly won't be if it's something a lot deeper than just money. And as hyped as Oda gets about this final reveal, even stating that the series might come to an end once it's revealed, it just makes us more excited to reach the finale.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Here's the fanbase assumed that finding the One Piece would then set off the final war, but the author's recent comments would suggest that finding the One Piece actually will mark the end of the series instead.
What a lot of people fail to realize is, like, just because there's a lot of fighting in One Piece, this is an adventure manga. This isn't a fighting shonen. This is an adventure shonen. So that's the main difference. and the adventure is finding
Whatever
the One Piece.
It is going to be wild. So even though these ideas might seem a little bit out there,
Him becoming a pirate king is just a byproduct of that.
Than the theories we've discussed so far, starting with the idea that the One Piece is on the moon. Now, I guess it is more about where
I like that one just because it would be cool to see like a teleportation
something going on with the moon
device, I guess, or a tractor beam device
that fully depends on the full moon. On the island of Ohara, there was a celestial model with 7 moons of the One Piece planets. The sun god Nika is pictured.
So I think that's a 5 out of 10. I don't. That's like kind of, it's plausible.
And most of all, we've seen from Enel, one of Luffy's former enemies from Skypiea, that he actually went to the moon in a cover story. And in Enel's cover story, it shows that there are the remains of an ancient civilization on the moon, as well as space pirates and an army of robots. Clearly, the moon is going to play a major role in the story at some point. So could it be that the reason Laugh-Tale is so elusive is because it's been in outer space the entire time?
That's possible.
Enel found ruins that seem to depict the winged races of the One Piece world, as well as the ancient weapons. So if the Straw Hats went to the moon, they could learn the full truth of the ancient kingdom and the Void Century from the remnants of the lunar civilization. And that truth in itself could very well be the One Piece. However, there are some other even more crazy locations where the One Piece could be located, like the idea that the One Piece is actually inside a giant whale. So maybe one of the reasons it's so hard,
I think that's a 3 out of 10 now, like pre-time skip and like when the first, you know what I mean, like when post-time skip first started happening, maybe that would have been more plausible, but I just don't see that being like, other than not Frankie, other than Brooke, like the whole Laboon thing is irrelevant now. Like, it's just all I gotta say about that. It's just pointless now. I think that theory is just pointless now.
Is a mirrored image of its ending. What if once again they have to go into the belly of the whale in order to find the One Piece treasure too? One big piece of evidence for this is that whenever whales appear in the story, the One Piece is mentioned as well. But it's not the only,
because that's just ironic. I don't know though.
Is that One Piece is beneath,
it's just, I feel like that's such a nitpicky detail just to connect that.
Government at their main judicial center. And Islabi is a very peculiar island, even for One Piece standards. It is always daytime there, and despite being located in the middle of the ocean,
it's just seltzer water.
A massive hole in the middle of
just
the
to let y'all know.
This lobby is built above. What is at the bottom of this hole? Where does it go? Well, according to
I
this
thought
theory,
that. I was thinking that
the One Piece itself. I mean, after all, what better way for the government to prevent people from finding the treasure than building?
Because that's another big thing too about people talking about the One Piece. They were saying that like we're most likely gonna have to go back to an island that we've been at before for the One Piece.
Strange ancient looking ruins on it. But now let's get back to what the One Piece actually is. Like the next one, that One Piece is Bing Sasake. Now, I've already talked about this 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, Bing Sake explains pretty much
another YouTuber, Archer, recently, and it utilizes the fact that
the whole One Piece, I guess. Like it does. Like I'm not gonna explain it here because he's about to go through it.
Popular song among pirates that Brook, the ship's musician, sings when he's first recruited to the crew. The Bing Sake song hints at the drums of liberation, the coming of the dawn, Wano, even Laugh-Tale itself.
Yeah.
Hanashi, the funny traveling tale. Both ideas that keep reoccurring throughout the story.
So this is an obvious 10 out of 10.
Return as well. And this theory also makes a guess at what Luffy's and
what he's also failing to say too is that like Oda literally had this song commissioned for this.
A secret dream that for now is hidden from the audience.
And so
my guess for this dream is that Luffy and Roger's dream was to throw a party where everyone in the world is invited. After all, after every single arc, Luffy loves to celebrate with a huge party. He thinks that everyone should be able to eat and drink as much as they want and live in happiness. And so Luffy's dream to become a pirate in the first place was inspired by Shanks's partying at the aptly named Party's Bar back in Fuchsia Village, which would make this reveal foreshadowed in a way from chapter 1 basically. And what do you need to throw a party for the entire world? Well, you do need a whole lot of sake. Specifically, Binks' sake would be a jug of sake big enough that all the world could party together, coming together as one piece. And when we think of how
clever
the exchanging of sake cups between Asabo and Luffy is, this giant party would be like Luffy or Joy Boy exchanging.
Don't forget to like,
cups
comment, and subscribe if you're still watching this.
Everyone across the world's ocean. And speaking of joining the world's oceans, the One Piece could also be destroying the Red Line. Now, this insanely popular theory says that the One Piece isn't an object, it's an action. Specifically, the One Piece refers to joining the world's oceans together into one piece.
Oh yeah, this is the Red Line.
Red Line and Grand Line itself. You probably know that currently the people of the world are separated from each other.
I don't think it's impossible. I just don't think it's happening. I think it's just a metaphor.
Dangerous oceans. And so the 4 big oceans of the One Piece world, the North, South, East, and West Blue, are all separated by the X, that is the Grand Line, and then the Red Line, which makes it basically impossible for most people to travel to any other region. And so not only would merging the seas together make the oceans into one piece, but it would bring the world's people together as well. What's the evidence for this idea? Well, think back to the very first chapter after the Straw Hats crew entered the Grand Line. When they met the whale Laboon, what was he doing other than eating their ship? Well, Laboon was repeatedly bashing his head against the Red Line, leaving it covered in scars, in an effort to reunite with his long-lost crewmates, who we later found out to be the ship's skeleton musician, Brook. Then we have Sanji's dream, which is to find the All Blue, which contains every fish imaginable of all 4 oceans. And our next clue comes from Fishman Island, which is exactly 1/2 of the Grand Line away from Reverse Mountain. On Fishman Island, an accomplished fortune teller, Madame Charlie, predicts that Luffy will destroy Fishman Island, which again is located directly under the Red Line. Now, this prediction didn't come true during the arc, but she's never missed a prediction quite yet, so Luffy likely will cause the destruction of Fishman Island before the end of the series. And it just so happens that the Red Line with the world government's capital of Marijoa are situated directly across this island. So if Luffy were to destroy Marijoa and the entire Red Line, it would collapse upon Fishman Island, destroying it. However, by making use of the giant ship the Noah, the fishmen might be able to finally make their home on the surface of the world instead of being forced to live beneath the ocean. Destroying the Red Line would also help many of the Straw Hats fulfill their ultimate dreams. If the seas were all combined, it would form the All Blue for Sanji, Brook would be able to reunite with
Theoretically,
Laboon, Frankie could freely voyage around the world, and Nami could reach any sea to draw a map of the entire world. And you can really dig down deep here. This theory in particular has a ton of crazy evidence speaking for it. It's a crazy story that involves oars, Greek mythology, and the true history of the One Piece world. So I really recommend that you check out.
All right, now those are the 13 theories about the One Piece treasure. Those are my ratings on them and how possible I think they are. The most possible, in my opinion, one is the Laugh Tale being the ancient kingdom. At this point, it seems like that's what it's going to be, and I'm okay with that. And but that's my thoughts on this. Ohara always makes great videos, and definitely want to react to more videos and stuff like this. So let me know your thoughts. Ohara, I hope to collab with you one day, and I hope you guys have a good day, time, night, whenever you guys are listening to this. Thank you.